As far as steel toe, I can't keep track, John, because it's so funny. And we could talk about it if you want. We don't have to talk about anything
No,
you
it's
don't
fine.
want, lawsuits and stuff. But I'll tell you, man, these motherfuckers are getting really cocky right now. They think you're screwed, and they're laughing, they're dancing on your grave right now. They're all, and here's the thing. I tried to watch that Lucy Tightbox broad the other night.
Yeah.
And she's so easy on the eyes, so I guess, and she shows her boobs, so at least you got that going for you when you watch it. But it's so one note, everything negative about you.
Yep.
And then I don't know if it's because of the Vince with Miss Judy connection, but now all these law tube people, I don't know if you've seen this, but now these law tube people are starting to talk about you. That law tube Sean guy, I don't know if you know, he's the big fat guy.
No.
A nice guy, by the way. He's a nice guy, but he was going through all your documents and saying why this case has no chance. I'm willing to go in and debate him because I think a lot of these people that see it from externally, they don't understand what this is about.
Like, well, a lot of lawyers don't understand what right of publicity is.
No.
So that's a whole hurdle to overcome.
Yeah. They see Stuttering John and they think, oh, it's a lull suit. They think it's a joke. They think it's frivolous, the usual bullshit.
Yeah.
You have the right to protect your brand.
Yes.
You have the right to protect Stuttering John Inc.
Yes.
And these motherfuckers can't take that and use it for their own gain.
No.
And you have the right to exert your power over your own brand and to be compensated for when it is used nefariously as they have.
Yeah. And they don't seem, and it's so egregious. They don't care. That's what I had a problem with your co-host, Deb. She was like, I don't condone lawsuits unless it's really egregious. And I'm like, what the fuck do you think this is? This is what they did was egregious.
Prima facie case of an egregious defamation, misuse of your representation. I mean, it checks off so many boxes too. Like you hit them in so many different ways. They can't defend their actions on its own merits.
No.
They have to play we got a better lawyer, or we're going to get him on a technicality, or he injured his arm, so we're going to force him to come to Rochester while he's injured. They're playing games because they're fucking nervous because they know they're wrong. That's my reading.
That's what I think. But but I don't think that Lady K is as unreasonable as Shitwayer is. I think Lady K is probably like, he knows that. Now, I think he knows that what they did was wrong. Shitwayer will never believe that anything he did was wrong. But Lady K, he never admits when he's wrong either, but he might at least understand what the reason is. Do you know what I mean?
I think so too. I think he's much more rational thinker. I'm sure his mom wife has probably said, Karl, why'd you drag us into this shit? Like, what? We got so many other things we could be worried about. We've got our
property, 2 mortgages, and now he's dealing, and and what this Danny guy's doing. I mean, I don't know if his meter's running, but all these things cost money. Yeah,
correct. And that brings me to another question that I was going to have for you today. And we don't have to spend too much time on this. I want to hear about your date. I want to hear about all the other things. We could talk about sports, but have you considered, because this is what Karl and Shuli did with Dr. Steve, have you considered a GoFundMe for your support, either legal or your even the arm situation for your surgery bills? Have you considered something like that?
Well, I have, but the problem is, don't forget, I'm like, this Dabbleverse was built to hate me. So you got to understand, like, even though they're fans, most of them, but they love to hate me. So, and the way Shitware and Lady K have positioned themselves is that they're the victims, when really I'm the victim. But they have convinced these people this is about freedom of speech, which, Dan, you're smart enough to know this has nothing to do with freedom of speech. But they don't. But the dabblers, they don't see it that way. So I think if I did a GoFundMe, I wouldn't be able to raise anything because they would look at me as the big bully, the big bad bully. You know what I'm
What
saying?
if you framed the GoFundMe just how you framed it right there? What if you framed this as a way for people to support freedom of speech, the First Amendment, the ability to protect likeness? And maybe you wouldn't make the same amount that they made with Dr. Steve because of their stupid sycophants that do that. But I think you'd be surprised. I think you would raise some money that way. It's just, I'm throwing it out there. It's just something to consider.
All right. Well, I will.
Take it under advisement. We don't have to we don't have to talk anymore about that. It was something
no,
that
I
popped in
am
my head
going to
today.
consider it because it really is. It's because they were given this money. Dr. Steve thinks somehow it's helping me, and it's not. It just empowered them. So maybe it's time I do the same thing. Even if I raise $100, it's $100.
And I don't want to talk. I don't want to speculate in a negative necessarily because I do like Dr. Steve mostly, although he has his moments. That whole GoFundMe to me felt a little. It didn't feel right to me.
It
And when I
wasn't.
say that, it borders on, and this is something that I see with a lot of these bigger Dabbleverse shows and how they do like their super tips and how they do their grift, so to speak, is a lot of times a lot of this stuff is bordering on what in some locales might be called money laundering, of ways to move money from one person to another through a means that allows you to get around taxes and allows you to get around that. There's just I don't know. There's something about it that I think if somebody peeled back the onion there, are they really using that specifically for legal funds? Is it specifically going to lawyers? Do they have documentation that shows that all the money has been used for the right causes? I just throw that out there. If somebody was willing to maybe do a little research, do a little digging,
Well,
you
that's
might
what
find
I've
some things
been
out.
saying. How about an audit? Because if it's not going to the legal fees, then isn't that egregious as well?
Correct. Yeah. So I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Sorcerer Gypsy, my man, happy Easter to you and your family. Same to you, Sorcerer. And I'll be in New York. If you want to get together, you let me know. And then I just forgive me for my lack of geographic knowledge here, or whatever you would call it. Poughkeepsie, is that on the way to Boston or no?
Unfortunately, no. And it was funny. I was even thinking about that. I was like, wow, when John's up north, maybe I could meet him halfway somewhere. But it really is far west. It's a few hours off the beaten path. I'm really far east in Massachusetts, not really near to the New York side. But yeah, I mean, definitely this summer, if you're up north, even if it's in like New York, I'd even come down maybe for a day. We go to a game or something. So we'll definitely find a way to sync up next time you're up in the north. Probably won't happen this time, but definitely looking forward to it. Definitely. I was even thinking, maybe one of these days because I go down to Florida a lot. Maybe I'll make a stop kind of in your neck of the woods and
fuck yeah, we'll fucking hang out, man.
Yeah. So
Bob, damn it, this thing's not working. Bob Sugarbush, are the doctors going to put Bush Light in your IV? Oh wow.
A lot of water in Bush Light, so
yeah,
and nutrients.
Yes, Dan, I was thinking about owning a restaurant. I don't know if you heard, and I'll have a dish called it'll be called the Celibacy. It'll be a Blue Bull special.